what is this Spider-Man doing here? I don't need this in my review. So last night I seen Fargo, and by the way, I'm taking over. Yeah, I'm Mr. P, in case you forgot, and Brandon's a little tied up at the moment, so let me talk about Fargo and this crap. Well, last night, the first episode of Fargo... Oh my gosh!
Hello? Mr. P? Oh my gosh! Oh! Whoa! Whoa! Dude! Whoa! Oh! Oh! Welcome everyone to our review for Fargo. I mean, The Simpsons. The Simpsons has done a Fargo episode, and I'm not totally freaked out by this murder scene. Whew, it looks like a lot of chaos happened here. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Greenlight Cinema. I'm Brandon Pacheco, and today we're going to be talking about Fargo, but not just Fargo. The Simpsons has done a Fargo, A Serious Flanders Part 1. Alright, let's start now. So today we're talking about a very fun topic for me, as a lot of my audience may know by now. Or, I love Fargo. Love it. I bring it up almost every episode, and I'm not going to cut to because I don't want to torture the audience enough. You guys have the point. I'm a huge Fargo fan, and I happened just to see this. The Simpsons was showing this Sunday. Cut to it. Had to wait till the next day on Hulu to catch it. So if you want to check this out, by the way, it's on Hulu. And I love this episode. It's Fargo. It's so Fargo. And like Coen Brothers, absolutely not just Fargo, but this was just, I don't know where to start. All right. We have, it starts off with like a little parable kind of, or a riddle or a rhyme with this bad guy that I still haven't got the name for yet. I'm just going to call him Fargo, because he reminds me of Fargo. Oh, and here's another great part about this. There's a lot of Easter eggs for this. So the title of this is called A Serious Flanders, which is also a Coen Brothers movie, A Serious Man. I believe it came out in 2009. Just really interesting, though, that they took on like a little thing right here, because at first it threw me off. I'm like, well, this will say Fargo. But as you keep watching it, you're like, oh, and it does this is based on a true story. And what's so great is you get this marriage here, because, Simpsons already, first on its own, Fargo is quirky. And I've always mentioned that. That's why I love it. It's got its quirks, and these characters, okay then. And they're just a little odd sometimes, but they have their own little quirks and funny. And The Simpsons worked that with their own special formula into a special blender, I guess you would say, that just culminated very great. I love this episode. I can't say that enough. We start out with V.M. Varga. That's what I'm going to call him. I'll put his picture right here up on the screen. And Varga, I guess you could say, he's got his own little thing. He's also a Lorne Malbo. I'm throwing just a bunch of Fargo references, so if you don't know Fargo, I apologize. And if you love The Simpsons, I'm going to try and stay on topic. Okay, let's get going. So, I wrote some of this down. It starts off with Simplex, which is like a Netflix-like thing. I don't know if they do this. I watch The Simpsons on and off. I'm constantly watching and looking up other new things sometimes to watch for here, so it gets a little muddled. Plus, I like to watch my Chicago PD.
Right now, here's your one chance to tell me where the rest of those kids are.
And my Blue Bloods. I gotta catch all my shows. So, alright, we gotta see. So we've seen the Simplex, and
Oh, the greatest part. Okay, so it starts off with, like, you know, the parable or this little rhyme or riddle. It's silly. I can't say it's a parable. It's more or less like just a silly little rhyme, which happens in Fargo often. And it's given to us by Varga, VM Varga. And he's kind of talking to he's talking to this the Texas guy in The Simpsons, the tycoon guy. I'm not sure what his name is, but he's first on the list. That's why he's actually in Springfield, VM Varga / Lorne Malbo. And he finds out, as he's chopping this guy up, it's great too. They have like a neat little Fargo montage, which I really appreciated that. So we see this guy getting cut up. It's great. Cut to, we see Ned, and I love it. Right away, he's wearing Lester Nygaard's signature hat and the jacket. You know, we see this, Ned's wearing it, and I'm like, oh no, you know, I like Ned, I guess. He's annoying, but I don't want him to become Lester. Okay, I'm not going to fanboy about Fargo here all day, so here we go. So it takes off with this. The episode, it starts off. So we have Ned and Homer. They're doing community service. Ned is doing it because he really just wants to do it. Homer's just doing it because he actually got in trouble and was paying a fine for community service. So they're there for two different reasons. And Homer, the whole time, is giving Ned, like always, just crap. And Ned he sees a piece of trash, and it makes him fall and stumble upon this rock and busts his head through a rock. And in a Pan Am bag, old bowling ball bag, we have this money, $100 million. I'm not sure how much money it was. I didn't write it down all the way. I was in a hurry as I was watching this on Hulu. Sure, you can rewind things, but why? Anyway, so as another thing I wanted to write down, the bad guy's got a Fargo signature look. He's got one messed up eye, and there's been one or two more characters. I can only right now think of the man that was in Lloyd Cannon's Mob. I'm not sure exactly. He's got like one messed up eye, and they did that with this guy too, which was great. I was like, there's so much paying homage here. I love it. So, you know, I got one. We got the name as a Coen Brothers name, Easter egg, the music, where we're hearing from Homer and Ned as they're playing this like old style music. It's like, wow, I just loved it. But Homer, he falls down this too. So as Ned's found this Pan Am bag filled with all the money, Homer also stumbles and falls too, but only to laugh at Flanders, which I thought was kind of funny. He's like, I can't laugh at you now. And he sees that Ned has the money, and he says, well, I guess karma is true, because I can't club you over the head and take it, because this would only happen to a nice guy like you. And it's just so funny to me that I'm just like, golly, Ned gets it so bad in this. And he has it bad in everything, but oh gosh, though, this was a great... I would never suspected or thought of Ned to be Lester, but this is a great character to start with this, and I applaud The Simpsons on everything they've accomplished and done, but this right here, by far, it takes the cake. Cut to, we see Ned in his house, and he's trying to figure out what to do with the money, and he remembers his grandfather, and he's like, you know, my grandfather, what would he do? And he was so great and wonderful, and I'm going to donate this money in his name to an orphanage. And so that's exactly what Ned does. And cut to, we meet this Minnesota woman, and I don't know if she's like a combination of different Fargo wives or women that we've had on there, but she reminded me of the outfits and stuff. But definitely the accent was so great. She's like, oh, golly, Miss Molly, and just so funny. I was like, I'm loving it. He donates the money. She's smitten on him hard, I guess you'd say. And she's like, you know, Ned, you should go to this open outdoor market with me, or, you know, it was really funny. Like, you know, Ned, he's flirting with her a little bit, and he doesn't, you know about this money at all. But it's funny, it's so unbeknownst to Ned, and, you know, weird, like, I found this money, you know, I'm trying to think if I was Ned, and I guess it's so hard to think about, but it's like, you know, he's a fictional cartoon character, but it's like, what would you do if you found the money, you know? And I guess that would be Ned's nature to donate that, but it's a really random, large, you know, specific amount of money. So the mob guy catches wind of this on TV, and as they're cutting up the cowboy guy, the guy's face, which is funny, is like all stuff to come up later. It's like little setups and payoffs with this. And I'm not sure if The Simpsons, again, I'm not sure if they do a lot of setups and payoffs like this, but this reminded me of a Fargo setup and payoff. Cause the cowboy guy, they cut his face off. That's the only thing they, for some odd reason, can carry or hang on to. And they find out Ned's address. And the bad guy, Varga, whatever, sends his sends his henchmen out to go find Ned Flanders. And it's pretty great. From there, it gets super far. So the bad guy doesn't know Ned's whereabouts yet. So he's like, I'm going to have to stay in Springfield. So he sends the henchmen out to go. And their first stop is the comic book stop, which was so funny. And Marge cut to her. She's like, I can't believe you, embarrassed me at this outdoor open market. That's the most embarrassing thing, Homer. You're sleeping on the couch tonight. And cut to, we see the bad guys, and it's so Fargo-esque. This is creepy, obscure music, or weird, obscure music. And the other henchman makes a note of that. He says something to the girl driving. Why can't we ever listen to Taylor Swift after, as we're going to go and tear someone apart? So at this time, he pulls out Ned's address, and they're on the right road. But the funny thing is, he loses it, out the window, and I can remember it.
Midnight Lane, or hell, it was it midnight, and the tone was something biblical, like Eden Village, Eden Valley.
So it was like the wrong mistaken identity, the wrong mistaken Stussy, the wrong mistaken Flanders. Homer's not Flanders or anything like Flanders, but he's got all his property there. And that's what they go on. They're like, oh, well, see, look, it says property of Flanders. And Homer's quilt that he's sleeping on the couch says the Flanders family. I was like, oh no, that's just icing on the cake here. So then cut to, after that wild outdoor open market thing, we see Ned and his love Minnesotan interest. He gets to her house, and they start, getting all hot and heavy, and it's wild. I'm like, this is pretty crazy for Ned to be going all the way like this. And then all of a sudden, he sees their wedding picture, and he's like, you're married to him. And she's like, yeah, kind of. And she's like, well, we got our own, arrangement, me and Mel. And so cut to next, we see Homer, and he's tied up, and they're like, we found him, boss. And it was really funny because he's like, this is not Ned Flanders. The bad guy looks at Homer and goes, you got lucky. And today you're just gonna sit here tied up. He's like, this one here, talking about the other henchman. He says, this one here likes to watch the Property Brothers. He's like, giant, charmless goons. And I lost it. I was like, that had to be like a Todd Gerhardt little thing. If Todd Gerhardt lived in 2021, I have a feeling that's what he would say about that show. And I laughed just to myself. I was like, this is wrote perfect. Okay. All right, here's where the episode ends. Marge, she's looking for Homer everywhere. She's going to all these different locations, and she can't find him. We have these beautiful style Coen brother cutaways. I love that. I love the Coen brother cutaways. So her last stop is at the diner, which happens to be where Vargas is sitting at, and he gets confronted by Big Tony, and we get a almost side by side comparison of Fargo season 2 when we're doing when they go into the diner. Oh gosh, hey, we could have more shootouts in diner for future Fargo season 5 ideas. I love diner shootouts. I'm cutting this short. Fat Tony and his mob, they have come to talk to Varga. He takes care of all of them, and there's this fantastic shootout that's a little nonsensical, but that's okay because Fargo's that way. But they did someone gets stabbed or shot, and it's beat for beat. The woman in Fargo season 2, the judge, when she gets flown into the table, and we see her blood spatter. I was like, oh, whoa. I'm like, they got the camera on this was just great. So we get this fantastic shootout. Varga takes care of Fat Tony and his whole crew. Leaves Marge. Marge is like, it's fantastic. It's so funny though. Marge sees though that bad guy puts on his coat, and as he puts on his coat, Homer's license to the nuclear power plant or whatever, ID badge. She sees that he's got Homer's ID badge. And so she's like, okay, I bet that guy probably knows where Homer is. He's suspicious and weird looking. And so it's so many Easter eggs and so much crazy stuff going on in this show. I loved it. It was a great episode. Whoa! It was fantastic. Homer's punishment we see in the cutaway is him watching The Property Brothers, which I thought was hilarious. And it just abruptly ends with Flanders. Like it, you know, how Fargo does, where it's like, we want to see what's going to happen next. Please check this out. And if you guys haven't already, hope you guys will like this episode and subscribe to my channel. And keep watching mine and John's Worst of the Best or Web of the Worst episodes. We got more of them coming up. And more Fargo reviews for Simpsons. Alright guys, thanks. Okay, bye.